Hi everybody, you are tuned in to the Power and Energy News channel, ESI Africa. Today I'm in conversation with Ali Mulla, who is the Commercial Operations Director for Sewedy Electrometer, representing Prime Alliance. It's good to be in conversation with you. How are you doing?
Same here. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, thank you. So let's jump into it. What is Prime Alliance and how does it link with Sewedy Electrometer?
Sure. The Prime Alliance is an association it started off as an association of utilities, reputable utilities, chip manufacturers, meter vendors, software providers, communication devices providers, working together to try and standardize power line communication.
Good.
And since then, the association has evolved into other aspects that complement these standardization efforts. For example, nowadays they're working on the standardization of hybrid communication with PLC and RF working together. They're working on the standardization of broadband power line communication. They're working on the standardization of the DLMS data model so that there's interoperability, full and real interoperability between the different bits and pieces of the overall solution.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. So now you're talking more around standardization.
Definitely.
What is the current lay of the land, if I can put it that way?
See, let's say that with the evolution of metering and the metering industry itself, what happened is that we started off with basic mechanical meters and then basic electronic meters, prepaid meters, and nowadays it's smart meters. The difficulty with smart meters is that you need to have different vendors working together, different parts of the solution working together. For example, if a utility sees that the software or the analytics software can be brought in from one company, and the data concentrators can be brought in from another, the communication modems from a third, and the meter itself from multiple vendors, you need to have some sort of interoperability. And in order to achieve this, you need to have standardization. And standardization, without it, you will simply have a vendor-locked solution, and nobody wants that. Because once you have a vendor-locked solution, you're stuck.
All right, so I'm getting the picture now. But let's be specific. What are some of the major problems that this creates, the lack of standardization in the metering industry?
I will tell you very simply. You need to have a competitive landscape because every year you're rolling out new meters. You don't want to be rolling out new meters necessarily from the same vendor all the time. You want to be able to diversify. You want to be able to diversify your communication modems because no one size fits all. So if in one geographical location power line communication works, it doesn't necessarily work in all locations. So you need to be able to to offer modularity. You need to be able to offer flexibility in terms of the communication, interoperability, true interoperability. And the only way to do this, again, is through standardization.
Through standardization. And that's a very important, without standardization, unification of the industry, then there could be some implications. And what are some of those implications, you think?
First and foremost, I think you will have a vendor-locked solution, proprietary technology, which normally causes some issues because the utilities want to explore new solutions. And the best way to explore new solutions is, one mind thinks very well, 100 minds together think really, really well.
Yeah.
And this is what the association represents. At the end of the day, one of the things I like about the Prime Alliance, for example, is that one of its principal members is an African company. We're an African company. Sewedy Electrometer is based in Africa. Our headquarters is in Egypt. Our factories are in Africa. And this is important to us. To have a principal member from Africa in an association, it means that the African challenges, the problems that we're facing in Africa, losses reduction, load management, revenue collection, issues that are hot topics in Africa are being addressed by the association. And I think that's something that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think it's an African problem and it needs African solutions.
Definitely.
So that principal representation is very important. Thanks very much for highlighting that. Now I wanted to then ask you specifically on your solution. How does it really solve the issues that we are discussing here?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. The Prime Alliance, I think, has been working very hard over the past few years on different fronts. The first front is to ensure that power line communication using narrowband power line communication is successful in very challenging environments with aging infrastructures. And this is very relevant for Africa. Prime 1.4, I think, is something that's proven to be very successful in very challenging environments, and we've been able to achieve excellent results using this technology. Yeah. Another very important aspect is standardizing hybrid communication. This is something that we're going to be hearing a lot about in the near future, not just today or tomorrow. I think this will be a trend that will continue on for the next 10 or 20 years, because with communication, if we're going to achieve real digital transformation, we need to secure the communication. Securing the communication in terms of the security of the data itself, encrypting the data, securing this communication in terms of reliability, so you have multiple options working together, for example, power line communication and RF. Maybe in the next few years we can work on power line communication and cellular communication working together. The idea is that you need to standardize this type of communication. You need it to be robust, you need it to be reliable, and you need it to be secure. Yeah. And I think this is something that the Prime Alliance works on very hard and has managed to achieve excellent results. Beautiful. And we've even started to pilot this in Africa, believe it or not, in Egypt.
Done. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, I have to talk about this because we are living in a landscape of disruptive technologies.
Definitely.
What would be your general advice in terms of long-term strategy for utility companies across Africa? What should they do in order to embrace this standardization that you're talking about?
I'll tell you very simple. Join the associations. I mean, to be honest, very few, believe it or not, very few utilities in Africa benefit from the fact that the associations are there. For example, not just the Prime Alliance, there are quite a few associations like the DLMS Association, like the G3 PLC Association, like the, for example, Meters and More Association. Plenty of associations. But the fact is, I love the Prime Alliance specifically because I believe that to have an African company on the board of directors, on the principal members level, this shows that this alliance and this association has vision. It believes in Africa and it wants to help African utilities solve African problems.
Excellent. So going forward now, what is your long-term strategy? I mean, in future-proofing the electricity supply industry, what would you say?
I would say that there are two hot topics that we're working on. The hybrid communication to ensure the reliability. Having two types of communication working on the same meter at the same time ensures robustness and reliability. This is an excellent solution, and it will definitely have an impact on all utilities in securing the communication. Because if you're securing the communication, there's a saying that we love at Sewedy Electrometer, which is you can't manage what you don't measure.
Yeah,
and to be able to measure, you need to have communication. Yeah. You need to have reliable communication, real-time data coming in. And this is the hot topic, I think, of the day.
Yes.
Another hot topic is broadband power line communication. This might be something that's still not relevant for African utilities yet, but in Europe at the moment they're talking about it. And we know that it's going to come to Africa. We know that broadband has so many different applications. We can start integrating street lighting. We can start integrating RTUs. We can start integrating multiple smart city applications. We can start to smartify our cities. The idea is, I love something else that comes to mind, which is that we want to raise the IQ of places.
Yeah.
To raise the IQ of places, you need to have data, analytics, big data, all of this. And the only way to achieve this is through reliable communication. It all goes back to securing the communication. And the best way to do this, to be honest, is to rely on the expertise, the knowledge of the people that have done it at mass rollouts. And the only people that have successfully done this are the associations.
The associations. So none of us is strong enough to beat all of us.
Definitely. One hand claps, but two hands clap very loud.
Very loud. So thank you very much, Mr. Mulla. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I really enjoyed it.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend.
Cool.